Blender Bombs kind of naturally, organically turned into this business. It sort of blew up, and I have to attribute a lot of it to Charleston just being such an incredible community. I think we support local businesses more than any other city I've ever seen. You know, I'm from Atlanta, and it's a competition, it's a rat race. But when I come here, it's like everyone's just rooting for each other. Yeah. It almost makes me want to cry, like talking about it, how incredible Charleston is.
Hey everyone, you're watching the Lively Charleston Podcast. Our goal with the show is to interact with and tell the stories of the amazing people, places, and businesses that make Charleston the best city in the world.
If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube.
And check us out on Instagram and Facebook, where we post content regularly throughout the week. Thanks so much, guys. Hope you enjoy the episode.
Today's guest is someone I have been wanting to have on the show for a while. She has made a name for herself in the health, food, and nutrition space with her company, Blender Bombs. She was a personal trainer. We'll find out more about that. Who used her knowledge and hustle to turn this kitchen startup into a growing household name. Retailers such as Whole Foods and Walmart have seen the light and are carrying the Blender Bomb products in different regions all over the country. She and her team of go-getters have recently added the worldwide wholesaler Costco to their partner list and show no signs of slowing down. Now, you would think that this woman has had enough on her plate and might take a victory lap or something like that. But no. This bombshell has just launched a brainchild that she co-founded, aptly named Tipsy Spritzers, into the marketplace and is rapidly winning over health-conscious cocktail lovers from near and far. Ladies and gentlemen, I am thrilled to introduce Miss Helen Hall.
That was an intro.
Yeah, did you like that?
Yeah, I was. I loved it.
Cool. I get it from my boy Tom Bilyeu. I kind of try to emulate him.
Yeah.
He's like my go to him and Joe Rogan. So.
Yeah, you're very good at pronouncing.
Oh,
words.
Thank you.
And your what's it called? Inflection.
Inflection.
Yeah. Great inflection.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I practice a little bit. Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna hit you with just kind of like an off-color question really quick, because I know I do a lot of research online. Any kind of content I can just absorb to learn about you, but we also ask questions, right? And apparently, something that a lot of people don't know about you is that you can run fast.
Yeah, guys, I'm really fast. I'm really fast. It is. I probably I could have gone far with track, but I got shin splints because I think it was my sophomore year. I got kind of recruited in high school to start running track, because before I was just playing softball and soccer. And I forget which sport I dropped for track, and I was tied with the fastest runner in high school, but she went to the Olympics. And we were neck and neck. And then I guess it was my PE final exam. We had to run a mile, and I forgot my tennis shoes, so I ran it in Uggs. And that got me out of track forever.
Did it really?
Because I got shin splints from it.
Oh, okay.
And I never recovered.
Yeah, because they have zero arch support, anything like that. I mean, nothing. You ran a mile in Uggs.
Yeah, and I ran fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a fun fact. I don't think I've ever talked about it on the podcast.
Okay.
Good question.
Yeah, I mean, I am an ex-track person myself.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was football and track, and so yeah, I was just okay, how fast is she?
Yeah, I don't even remember my times. Yeah, that's how long ago that was.
It doesn't matter.
I wish I need to know. There's a YouTube video that my dad made of me of my lacrosse highlights.
So you played lacrosse too?
So I started playing, and that's, I guess, if I was to go back and change anything about my childhood, I wish I started playing lacrosse earlier, but being from Atlanta, the Southeast, lacrosse didn't pick up until recently. Right. So I hadn't even heard of it till I went to high school. And then I didn't pick it up until junior year of high school. And I excelled at it, I guess, and was recruited for college too, but I didn't have any stick skills necessarily. I just could outrun everyone on the field.
You were just fast.
Yeah, I was just pass and shoot.
That is really cool.
And then when we went and played with some people out in Maryland, it was everyone was fast and could shoot. So I was good for the Southeast.
Yeah. My son played lacrosse. And I just, awesome sport. Absolutely loved it.
So fun.
Yes.
But boys get hurt, girls don't.
Yeah, that's true. Totally different game. Big time. So I know you probably get this question a lot about like, how did Blender Bomb start? How did it come to fruition?
Yeah, and it's funny that I like to preface stories like this because it's in the intro you mentioned, you would think that she would take a victory lap or whatever, but we're still working on it every day. Like, it's still self-funded. I'm still waiting to see it in my bank account. So I don't want anyone to think like, oh my God, this entrepreneurial like dream has occurred. It has, for sure. Like, I'll give it credit for that, but it's still a grind and we're still working on it every single day. I think some people just look at social media and assume that because she has X amount of followers or is an X amount of retailers, like, we don't make money off those retailers. Yeah. Not for several years. Not until acquisition.
You just like wiped off like 6 of my questions off my list in that one statement. Because I used to work in the food industry a little bit. That was my first job out of college. I was like a food diverter is what they're called, kind of like a food broker. So I know what it's like to deal with like retail houses and stuff like that a little bit. And
like animals.
And how manufacturers really, like yourself, who are producing product, just because you make it into Walmart or a Costco, it doesn't mean you have made it per se.
Yeah, like you've got to, all of your profits for the first several years, you have to put back into promos and in-store promos. Like that 10% off you get at Whole Foods from being a Prime member, like we pay Whole Foods at 10%. You know, Whole Foods isn't going to take a cut.
Right.
But how it started is in 2017, just to backtrack, in college I had gained 30 pounds and I was trying to figure out how to lose it. You know, everyone goes through their own journey of some sort with health and wellness and just learning to take care of themselves. And after years of trial and error, what worked with my body was a mostly plant-based diet. Not totally, but just like, plant forward. And I became a personal trainer after college. And one of the biggest things that kind of helped me lose my sweet tooth per se, because that was always my weakness, was having a smoothie every day. So if you watch a lot of TikTok or Instagram or whatever, you'll see all these young girls being like, here's how I get rid of my sweet tooth. I eat fruit after every meal. Like, just have a smoothie in the morning, like have a ton of fruit. So I started getting my clients to do that when I became a personal trainer after college, and noticed how many testimonials I was getting from them. Just like, Helen, after a week of having the smoothie recipe that you gave me, I don't crave sugar anymore. Or like, my energy levels are through the roof. Or now my kids are doing it and like, they don't get hungry. They don't have to snack anymore in their classes. Or, after a few months, like my skin is better from just eating, and it created a domino effect to my lifestyle. So personal training, you can only exhaust so many hours in a day. And also I was not passionate about it. I was passionate about teaching meditation, but not, and like mindfulness and stretch, but I was not passionate about high intensity exercise training. Sure, so I got burned out real quick, and always have been passionate about food and like being creative and using my hands. And so Blender Bombs kind of naturally, organically turned into this business. It sort of blew up, and I have to attribute a lot of it to Charleston just being such an incredible community. I think we support local businesses more than any other city I've ever seen. I'm from Atlanta, and I go to Atlanta, and it's a competition, it's a rat race. But when I come here, it's like everyone's just rooting for each other. Yeah. It almost makes me want to cry, like talking about it, how incredible Charleston is.
I am so glad to hear that, because I agree with you. And I've lived in bigger places and things like that. And it can be described as a rat race. And when I do go to the big cities, I feel like I'm just lost. Everybody, and when I get here, this is home. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it's of course, because there's less people, but I mean, it's just people really are trying to grow as individuals, I feel like. Mm-hmm. And it's really neat too, because a lot of people are coming from other places as well. It's a big melting pot.
It is.
And people, you think, some people try to change it, and some of the old Southerners will be like, oh, they're trying to change our ways, which, whatever. I mean,
it's time.
It might be time, but it's just such a great place to be at.
I apologize that we don't want everyone wearing khakis and tucked in polos and like Smashers and Branson belts.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's time. No. Always time. Just like, as you know firsthand, like with branding and marketing, if you don't evolve and change every few years, then you're going to be irrelevant. Yeah. Same thing with like cities. Like, we got to evolve and change with what's going on.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I know that you support businesses around here. At least, when I watch you, I'm a fan. I'm like an Insta fan. I really am.
That makes me so happy.
I really am. And it's not only just for me and because I've been an entrepreneur and I still am. I'm a real estate agent, but I watch for my kids, like my daughter. My daughter is 17, and I've heard your story of when you went to college, and I've heard on another podcast where you talked about it, and I was just like, what just a neat thing. And then I met you one time actually when you were working at the juice shop.
Oh, I loved working there.
Yeah, and I actually, I used to have my winters off. I owned a mosquito control company. And so in the wintertime, I just kind of chilled out, which I shouldn't have.
You should have. That's why I like Charleston, because you can't feel guilty about that.
Right. But I worked at the main squeeze. And so I would just sling. Yeah, I had a great time. I
wish more people, we can't hire anybody now. If anybody wants to work at the Smoothie Bar, let me know.
Okay.
If anyone has winters off, holler.
Yeah, for sure.
I love working in the smoothie bars.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was creative for me, and I was able to meet so many different people, and everyone likes to talk in Charleston, so you just get to know your regulars.
Yeah, for sure. And then I see you supporting places like the Wanderer, and I've had a chance to talk with Bo. He's a great guy, and I actually met him in another life as well. So it was so interesting.
I think everyone knows Bo.
Yeah, such a good guy.
I love Bo. On his podcast, you probably have to 1.2x him.
Oh, yeah? That's true. That is so true.
But that's why he's so, it's like he thinks before he knows what he says the right things all the time.
Yeah.
He's a smart guy.
Fascinating guy. For sure.
Got a big
I really
brain.
enjoyed meeting him. But I have you here, and I find you just as fascinating. So we talked a little bit about how Blender Bombs came to be. And then I noticed you do a lot of other things. You are like your 80-20. And is that you? That's your, explain that to me really quick. I'm not.
Yeah. So kind of just an overview. I think it'll make more sense to people in Charleston. And it's almost like I have it in my head, but I've never really explained it to other people necessarily in a thorough way. But the long-term goal with everything that I'm working on now is to expand the Smoothie Bar when it's time. And when you expand the Smoothie Bar, that increases the sales of all the retail products that are in the Smoothie Bar, because I have control over what retail products I sell in the Smoothie Bar, since I own the Smoothie Bar. And so Blender Bombs is like this niche smoothies, oatmeal bowls, yogurt brands, like this breakfast category brand. And it's everything, the retail products is everything that you need to bring the Smoothie Bar into your home. And then we've got this dessert snack category, which is what 80-20 Market is developing into. And Naomi from Southern Charm is my business partner, really just to help with the marketing, but also I respect her thought process so much. She is brilliant. She's someone who you should have on the podcast too, because a lot of people look at her and just think, oh, she's a pretty face and, she's on reality TV, but that woman is so strategic and brilliant with business.
Love that.
Which is why she's doing the show. She's smart, right?
Right.
But with 80-20 Market, we've got the cookies, we've got the brownies. We're working on brownie batter. We're going to launch coffee soon, but we're doing it at a very slow pace because we're not worried about making money off 80-20 Market, right? That will grow as the Smoothie Bar expands. And then the other Tipsy Spritzers is obviously an alcohol brand, which with the 3-tier distribution rules, I'm not allowed to sell alcohol at Hustle. But as we franchise it, the franchisees will be allowed to sell the Tipsy Spritzers there because I won't have ownership of a franchise. So, and with the Smoothie Bar, it's this all-encompassing wellness place where you can go and buy everything that we've kind of created, brands that people can trust, no filler ingredients.
Right.
It's more expensive. It's a premium product, but then again, you get what you pay for, right?
Right.
And also, sometimes you don't want to make your own smoothie, so you go and buy it.
Right. No, I've been to the Smoothie Bar, and you have granola, and you have what?
We have the bars, we have granola, we have a smoothie butter, we have cookies, we have brownies, we have several local purveyors, Mabel Mays and Nordic, and we're working on just to reduce our costs, bringing some of the food in-house.
Yeah.
And we work with Beyond Basics, which is a local nonprofit that employs adults with intellectual disabilities. which that has been a mission from the beginning. And like one of the reasons why we started the Smoothie Bar, since I'm from Atlanta, my brother has intellectual disabilities. He's very high functioning, but he was also severely depressed because he was high functioning enough to understand that I was going off and like making my mark on this world, and he was at home like living with my parents, like couldn't find a job. And then when he worked at the job placement nonprofit and he got a job, it completely changed his life. It gave him purpose. Like he's the happiest person now. And so awesome. It sounds cliche, but like we really are using the Smoothie Bar for good.
Good.
For sure.
Yeah.
So we got to expand it, but we've got to, we're going through some like buying business partners out this year. We're going to close the food truck. So I haven't announced that yet, but we're going to close it in the next 2 weeks, just because we have been looking for people to work for the last 4 months, and we have not found like one full-time person that could do it that's been a line cook before. And also because we need to focus on the Smoothie Bar.
Okay. Yeah.
So learning how to trim the fat. And I feel like that's what happens a lot during like right now we're seeing so much inflation and costs are going up, and we just had COVID, people losing their jobs. And that's why it's so hard to hire in the restaurant industry right now, is because people lost their restaurant industry jobs and then they went and got, 9-to-5 jobs, and they're not going back into the service industry.
Right. Because
they don't need to. Yeah. And that's why it's really hard for restaurants right now to scale. Like it pushed us back 2 years, but also, oh God, where was I going with this? I forget.
That's okay.
It'll hit me.
That's okay.
I had a point and I forgot.
It happens all the time. Yeah. So, so you're talking about the food truck. I was curious about the Blender Bomb mobile.
Yeah. So we sold that. So crazy things happened this year. Like, this is where I was going.
Okay.
These times, like we just had COVID.
Yep.
Everyone maybe 10, 20 years older who's like lived through a recession of some sort, they understand the value of trimming the fat. Like you go through periods with business where you cut, and then you have this really lean business, and then the economy eventually goes up and you're very profitable because like you made the changes, you pivoted. If you can pivot through a situation like this and survive, like you will be good. And that is completely what happened to me this year. I was engaged and cheated on me. He worked for me, lived with me, cut that off. We had a business partner that wasn't working, cut that off. Employees that weren't necessarily right for the growth trajectory that we were on, and like cut that off.
Sure.
And so it's been a year of, I guess, trimming the fat so we can make room for like growth.
Trimming the fat and shining the light.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, we got to really put this under a microscope now. Mm-hmm. You're like, okay, you've been with me for X amount of time, but you're not.
Or like you're
mindset
what we
maybe,
needed at
and
the
you're
beginning,
not,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so what's really important for me when hiring people is, even though the Hustle Smoothie Bar is a different LLC than the Blender Bombs Corporation, Hustle is one of our biggest wholesale accounts because every smoothie has a Blender Bomb and bomb butter in it, right?
Right.
So they need to be treating Hustle I think there was a lot of internal conflict with Blender Bombs employees being like, we don't want to spend any time on Hustle because it's different than what Blender Bombs company is. But like, if Hustle brings in $250,000 a year in sales to Blender Bombs, and we open up like 5 of those over the next 3 years, like you're getting a raise.
Right.
So that I think was one of the biggest issues with our past team, the startup team.
Yeah.
So we're
a little short-sightedness maybe. Mm-hmm. Okay. What book have you read here recently that kind of maybe changed your insight or outlook on what you're doing and where you're going forward?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Let My People Go Surfing.
No kidding.
Without a doubt. By the founder of Patagonia. Yep. That's just affirmed kind of everything that we had been doing and just gave me so many ideas for things that we do need to do. He is so unconventional in the way that he has like built his business. He's got daycare in the office. He hired his friends at first. Obviously, you run out of friends, and then you gotta hire real people. Right. His attitude about like making sure he always stayed true to his enjoyment, which is like being outdoors and just being very transparent. Like I try to be as transparent and not have an ego. Like I don't care if people know how much we do in sales or that we want to be acquired or like what our margins are. Like, I'm not doing anything wrong. There's literally nothing that I should be hiding.
Yeah, you're not hiding anything.
Yeah, like, oh, you know that we're trying to make money. Thank you. Good.
Yeah.
Please buy our products.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I went on a men's hike recently with Seacoast Church, and one of the guys told me about that book.
Have you read it?
No, but I actually went to Barnes & Noble yesterday and kind of picked it up and like kind of rifled through it a little bit. Yeah, I did. Honestly, I was just like,
small world.
Yeah, I was like, what's this all about?
Well, now here's your sign.
Yeah, exactly. And then a lot of people don't know this, but the North Face and Patagonia guys are buddies. They were surfing buddies.
And did you watch that documentary?
Mm-mm.
We gotta look
this is all like from my hike buddy telling me.
Oh yeah, there's a crazy documentary about the two of them together and their adventures. And I'm not gonna spoil it, but it made me cry.
Okay, so everybody, what's the name of it? What's the name of the documentary?
Let's look it up. Or we can
no
link
problem.
it afterwards.
Yeah, totally. All right, cool. So tell me about I don't know. Let's get a little personal. Do you care if we get a little personal? Tell me about
180 Degrees South.
180 Degrees South.
That's
is
the documentary. Mm-hmm. It's not on Netflix. I think it's on like Amazon or Hulu or something like that.
Okay, cool.
But it's necessary.
Yeah, I will definitely watch that for sure. And so you were engaged, and now you are not, and you're just. How is it? How is it like moving forward now? How do you feel in your life? You know, just moving forward. Is it just like that door is closed and you're like, but I know everybody goes through like a kick in the gut. I get that.
Oh yeah. And I think I'm really good at, maybe to a fault, like compartmentalizing things, because the number one thing that I try to do with my life is be somebody and say things and like think things that if they were on public display, I wouldn't be embarrassed about. So like I really do try to stay completely honest all the time. So I know, like, with that relationship, there's nothing. It was hard at first, those first 2 weeks, when I found out that, and I'm just being transparent, like, he did cheat on me with, a real estate agent in town and, like, a few other people. And, And I think that it wouldn't be bothering me now if there wasn't, like, there's a lawsuit situation happening, and that's been really hard. So if I can clear that slate by the end of the year, that'll be good. That'll be my second lawsuit this year. So this year has like kicked me in the gut 1,000 times.
Oh man.
Because I didn't protect myself. Because, I think, everyone else has the best intentions, like the intentions that I have.
Sure.
I would never do anything to screw someone over. Even if it meant like me reducing my paycheck, 70%, as long as I could sleep at night, I would do it.
Yeah.
And so that has been really hard, but it's been the best thing for the business. Absolutely the best thing for the business. A girl named Casey took over like his role and is kicking ass. I've never seen someone like take a role by the horns and just thoroughly understand it and just like clicks. It's almost like, damn, I wish she'd been doing it the whole time.
Was she in your sphere already?
Yes. So we met because she was my neighbor when I was living in Oyster Park. She moved from New York and she was a college dropout, and she's one of the smartest people I've ever met. And then our graphic designer is still with us. She lives in Charleston. She's fantastic. She's just like the biggest executor. She just executes nonstop.
Yeah.
And then we have a girl named Stuart, who's she's like 24. She went to UNC. And again, she's a hustler. Like every single person on our team right now has that entrepreneur, like startup mentality. Mm-hmm. And then another girl named Kelly, who we've been working with, who really understands retail and how to grow in retail. So we're doing good. I started dating someone in Atlanta. Yeah. He's wonderful. We met on Hinge.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he's like...
And he's an Ole Miss rebel?
Yeah, he is. He's phenomenal.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It all works out.
Yeah, and I don't know if y'all follow Helen on Instagram, or you will. You need to, because, I mean, she's just, I don't know, just a rock star. I mean, you're everything you do, TikTok, Instagram, whatever, and just speaking to you right now is just completely you're yourself. Mm-hmm. And you can tell it's completely genuine.
Yeah.
And I think that's, and I've said this before on podcasts here I've done recently, is that I think we're starving and we're for genuine things.
Yeah. I wish I could showcase that more on social, but I feel like
But I think you are.
I do in podcasts because I'm communicating with someone.
Right.
But it's awkward, like talking to a screen.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
I'm like, what? Who am I talking to?
Well, I don't know. You're natural.
Thanks.
Yeah, for sure. So what is next? I mean, something I wanted to ask you. So you obviously are an idea person. Mm-hmm. You get ideas. Do you have a system? I mean, I'm just curious to like you come up with an idea and do you write it down? And then what is the process to kind of go? I mean, do you have coaches that help you like work through processes? I'm curious.
I actually just like started understanding the value of a coach, but this is the process. So we've got a first draft and then we change it, and a second draft and then we sign off and then we get paid, and then another draft. And then, sorry, I don't like this color. We changed the draft. Can we revert back to the original, actually? Like, I'm just constantly changing my mind. But really, I've never done a business plan. I've never looked at a P&L until this year. Mm-hmm. I've been super, super, super stingy almost. Like, I won't do a marketing thing if it costs me money unless I know I'm going to break even or make a return on it. Of course, there's been a few mistakes here and there, but the company's been completely bootstrapped. And so I learned how to do everything myself. Yeah. That's kind of my process, is I do it myself. So, for example, one thing I learned the hard way was like with websites, for example, a website can cost $10,000 to make.
Sure.
But now I've learned I design the website in Canva and then I pay someone to code it. So it's like I know exactly what I'm getting with this design, and then we code it. And then I will make the product myself in-house before paying a formulator, just to cut down. Like if I can cut down, it's just like paying an attorney's bill. Like I will do all the legwork myself. Mm-hmm. And then if they execute it correctly, that's good. So I'm the type of person that I need a partner or an employee or someone who can execute my ideas, but I will give it to them in like a crumbled sheet of paper, and then they just have to take it and make it happen.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So, I mean, I'm just amazed. I don't know how you do it all. But I sit back and I wonder, and I wanted to ask you, I was like, how do you get it all done?
There's so much more I want to do, though.
Yeah, well, that's amazing.
I've learned a lot from my business partner in Tipsy Spritzers, Katie. She is kind of the opposite in me, in that I like to launch things and fix later, and it does not bother me if there's mistakes, like at all. Oh, I got a typo here, it doesn't matter. Right. She comes from a corporate world because she's med device, and you cannot have mistakes when you launch.
Right.
And I'm so thankful for her and Tipsy Spritzers, because you have to be that way with alcohol, mm-hmm. because you'll get shut down. It can be a big legal issue if you don't take your time. But with food, it's not. Like food is so type B and alcohol is so type A. So my personality with just me as the sole founder for Blender Moms works. It would not work for alcohol.
Yeah. Okay. So how did Tipsy, because it is organic wine, organic flavoring, real juice, real everything, correct? So how did the brainchild start? How did the baby?
So it was actually Katie's idea. We were on her boat and I was itching my arm because my arm used to be completely covered in eczema. I mean, like at least 50% of my arm was covered in eczema. My forearm, and I could never figure out what it was. I tried every elimination diet, and some days it like wasn't inflamed, but the eczema would never go away. And I learned the hard way that it was from cans. So not necessarily the can itself, but something that was in the can. So Spindrift, LaCroix, White Claw, Truly. And eczema is just like a sign of inflammation in the body. Right. For some people, it's psoriasis. For some people, it's headaches. For some people, it's fatigue. For some people, it just can manifest in many different ways: constipation, gut issues, etc. But for me, it was eczema. Eczema is actually a good thing. It means there's something wrong in your body, and this is a warning sign that you need to adjust. Yeah. So I knew I had to figure out how to get rid of this eczema the natural way, rather than just putting like a steroid cream on it, which would work, but that just suppresses whatever the issue is. And she started calling different co-packers and being like, what are you adding to your drinks that is triggering, her psoriasis, my eczema? And we learned about a chemical called Velcron, which is in 99% of anything. It's in anything that's in a can that isn't organic.
Okay.
So if it's in a can and it's not organic, there's Velcron in it. And we went on to produce, she was like, let's make a wine that doesn't have Velcro in it so we can like actually drink.
Right. You figured that out. And so you're like, we can make something better.
Oh yeah. So Katie does a lot of the like type A, logistical, operational things that I've never been good at. And I do a lot of the marketing and, account management, sales, like going to the tastings, like grassroots, feet on the ground, like that sort of stuff. That grassroots marketing is my thing. I love doing that. Yep. So I'm not good with rules.
Well, awesome. Well, Helen, I can't tell you, I have been just blessed to have you on the show today. It has been a blast to learn about you and what you have going on and what you've done and where you're going. So tell everybody where they can find you and follow you.
Yeah. 309 Hidden. No, just kidding. I was giving my address. No, it's at Helen Hall on Instagram and at Blender Bombs, at Drink Tipsy. And then if you're local, go to the Smoothie Bar. It's in Town Center because the food truck will be closed in 2 weeks.
Oh, no.
I know.
Over at Container.
Yeah.
Right?
We'll still go to the Container Bar. We love them.
Dude, my son goes there all the time.
Yeah. It's fire. It's incredible.
Cool. I'll go there. All right, cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a blast.
Bye.
Love it. Thank you.
Hey y'all, that's a wrap on today's episode. Thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like or follow or subscribe, whatever platform you're on, just hit the button to make sure you don't miss any future episodes.
Yep, and please help us grow the channel by sharing it with someone else who might enjoy it as well. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.